And one of the big things that deal with changing habits is decisions. As a matter of fact, one of the hardest things to do sometimes is to make a decision in line with what you really want to do, because the circumstances seems as if they are against you. So if you go back to the idea of your thoughts and the way you conceive your thoughts deal with your conviction, in other words, if you really believe that this is what you want for your life, if you go to the point of believing, you're really convinced of it, what happens is that the decision actually creates in you a seriousness to actually pursue beyond the things that are wrong, the challenges. Whether it's you don't have enough money, you're in a location, you're cramped because of the different responsibilities, you actually start thinking of ideas to work around it. If you believe you need to do this course because this is what you really love to do, this is what you really want to do for your life, and this is the course that you need to study to get it. But I have so much responsibilities. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have this to do. What happens? The decision breaks it. And sometimes it's hard to do that because the circumstances, we said that the things are wrong, seem to pressure us. But the crucial thing that makes a difference is a decision. Once you make a decision, your mind is a marvelous thing. Go and look for a lady called Caroline Leaf, Dr. Caroline Leaf. She's a scientist, a brain surgeon, and she does a lot of work in relation to how God designed the brain to actually heal itself, actually heal us, actually create. She shows different ways in which the fibers in the brain grow based upon how you think about yourself, how you think about life, how you focus on. She shows those things. I mean, awesome woman of God, right? And scientist. She has several books on education. She has some on the relationship, so how you function in relationship and how your brain actually helps, how you think affects those areas, right? She's able to take people even who are vagrants and make them geniuses from her study, right? Very Caroline Leaf. You can actually find some of her videos on YouTube too, right? Very, very good at doing these things. So it's coming from thought, of changing the thought life into actions. And then of course you have the big guy, which everybody sees, your character. So he's a no good or he's the best thing since sliced bread. Right? You have the options. Right? People see that. That's what people see. Right? Preferences, you prefer this, and then this is my value system. Right? Hello? Leaf. Caroline Leaf. L-E-A-F. Yeah, it's spelled there. Yeah, it's actually spelled like that. Yeah, L-E-A-F. Caroline Leaf. I think I write down. Another book you can look at is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. That's another nice book. They'll with this. James Allen, A-L-L-E-N. Okay, from that first session we did, any thoughts, ideas, any clarification needed, question? Just what we have done so far, what we spoke about so far. Good. No rush, everybody. Right, that.
Thought-wise, actually, I was really glad because it went along exactly what I was kind of hoping to see thoughts into results, because I just see in working with young guys and stuff, I realized getting people to think a certain thing is half the battle with me. Getting them to actually get up and start doing it and forming the right habits. I was looking at your diagram and it reminded me of an iceberg. At the top, it looked big at the top and thing. I said, but at the bottom, it's like way easier. And that's the area where you really need to start to worry about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd like to say I'm glad I was here, and I'm looking forward to some more information.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very good. we normally see the body, how wonderful the body is. And we need to take care of it. Right? How much work we need to put into taking care of that mind. I see somebody's rushing to ask questions. We'll continue. Right? Somebody. Yeah.
Let's ask a question. You know, you're saying your perception becomes your reality. And when you deal with people on a daily basis, you realize what they perceive and what they conceive in life becomes that reality to them. And even though you may try to show a different way, they're so captivated by that way of their mind, how they perceive a certain thing to be, that it's difficult to kind of sway them out of it. So I don't know if you can give some clarification on that.
We were talking about the approach to sway them now to actually get out of where they are. I think the process, just like how Zig dealt with the lady, she's captured by all these frustrating people in the work, what they're doing and so forth. What he did is that one of the basic things is agreeing with them. That's what they see. It's okay. Right? I don't have the solution. But I can give you some ideas. But I'll ask you some questions. What do you want? What do you want? What is it you want? That's the first part. Based upon what they want, it's simple, you draw a map. Okay? Here what's happening. I want to get to Port of Spain, and I'm in San Fernando. I want to get to Port of Spain. Well, I'm not sure how you would like to go, but here was happening. I know normally, if you want to go Port of Spain, you have to go north. What do you think? So I don't have the solution, but I normally know people who go to Port of Spain usually go north. People who normally want to get out of debt do certain things. What do you think? No, it is their situation. I don't have all the solution, but I think I know that sometimes when people want to get out of that situation, this is what they do. What do you think? So you are inching by just relating information. Now, here's the other part. The part of going north could be east and then north first, west and then north first. The method or the strategy could be car, plane, boat. Doesn't matter how it is. But the most important thing is to find out where do they want to go. That must be very clear. What is it you would like to see happen out of this? That's very, very important. What it does, two things. One, it gets them to express themselves, as we were talking about, because you see and hear how they express it. Secondly, you want to discover the belief systems that are underneath there. But there is another part. The other part is to get them to be able to decide for themselves. Not you deciding. You want them to decide. I must get here. You want them to decide it. Therefore, yes, I know what you're revealing to me here. Yes, I'm not going north, and I might have to take some bumps. But here was happening. I really need to get there. Because one of the things, when I started the program with the guys, one of the things that used to happen is that the other teachers used to teach other classes, used to complain to me. You don't say so and so and so. You don't say so and so. Take it easy. It's okay. Because the two things I understood. One is this. I could never want them to be right or love them more than God do. I could try hard and say how much I love them and I want them to be all kind of stuff, wasn't it? God much more times more want that more than them, more than me. He want that. He want that more than I do. And God's so powerful and strong, I believe. Right? That's a fundamental belief I have to come to accept. I could never love them as much as he. I can never want them to be right and straight and do all these wonderful things as much as he does. That's one. Secondly, he had to be patient with me too. so there are times when I mess up, and he tell me what to do, and I still mess up. You know what I mean? I had to face their mess too. That's the process. I have to go through the process. So I had to calm the teachers up. It's okay. Because the guys had somebody helping them, they thought that magically things will change. And I said, no, it's okay. You will see. Now, push. Everybody thankful. But the process, sometimes the problem. You want them to change now. But the most important thing is, I need to get into their world first before I can share. I need to find out, do they really want to get there? Why do they want to get there? What is there for them? I need to surround myself with their idea of where they want to go and what they perceive and what they think is right and why they think that is so. What I'm doing is asking questions. Only when they relate to me, tell me this. And so well, normally you might have to go north. There are different ways. Sometimes you get a taxi by the start there, I don't know. You can take that. Right? That's a good way sometimes. I can find out more. But the idea must be, the fundamental belief must be, I am not going to solve this. I'm just the vessel. Right? God is the one who will do this, will deal with all the techniques and all the different things. I'm just a vessel. I just need to listen. I just need to implement. I just need to be gradual. I just need to be there, present, listening. That's it. So the patience comes because would come more when I understood the processes I was telling you about. When I understand all these different things, and all these different things have been piled up. That can't be broken short. But I have to first get to that point of understanding that. You have to learn it. That is why you're learning it. Because as you're listening, you have to understand, okay, that's their concept of that. Alright, I'll give it up. That's their philosophy. That's how they think. Oh, that's where it came from that parent. Oh, keep up the sisters doing something. Like there's a cleaner who likes to sit and listen to me. Because she's having challenges. And what she likes is the fact that two things. I don't tell her what to do about a relationship. All I'm sharing is the concepts that I know, which God shares. I'm not talking down to her. I'm just sharing concepts. Well, normally, if you have to do this, normally you will do that with your child, right? The same thing, I just said, really? But I never thought of that. I'll come back and check you again. What I'm doing is that I'm gradually inching into the whole idea of how she thinks, how she functions, how she relates, right? And then, because I'm not dealing with this yet, I'm not dealing with that yet. I need to deal with this first. I need to deal with this guy here. I need to get to the beliefs, the fears, the feelings, the paradigms, the things that are done there. I need to deal with that. I need to hear those things. I need to let them, and then I will now bring perceptions into it. When after this, that is dealt with, the action's gonna change, character's gonna change, decisions gonna be made. So when it's time for me to share the truth about what God really wants for her life, the arms are open, ready to receive Jesus. Yes, you're right, perception becomes reality, but I have to listen. I have to listen specifically for those things to make the changes. Are you okay? That's just a process. Be patient. Right? Because we're going to learn later on how to deal with each one now, each perception, each area. There are 6 areas: spirituality, which also affects the personal lives, their relationships, their finances, their profession, their social services, physical health. It affects those different areas in different ways. You have to learn how now, based upon what they're saying, how do we adjust each one differently based on where they are. Right? So learn that later. Logos. If you go. Logos. Everybody know about logos, right? you have been in Bible study and doing the good logos, so when logo says, right, word, right? So, ideas or words are specifically expression of what you're thinking. So I'm going to have a conversation here. Very good friend of mine, right? Will I mean? That was good, eh? That was a good line. Eh? And you had a good conversation? Right, of course. You didn't get a conversation? You didn't understand the conversation? You didn't understand the conversation? Why not? Oh, you didn't understand it?
I didn't understand language.
You didn't understand language? What language we use? We didn't use anything, we didn't use English.
Definitely there is silence.
So for you to understand it, what I need to do? I need to what? I need to speak, I need to talk. Because you can never, you're not getting what I have in my head.
Right, got one inside of me.
Can't get it. Because I haven't said anything. Because that's the language that you use. I need to communicate with you the way you communicate. Not the way I think you should. Right? So I need to find, they have those in different areas. They have love languages and all this. I mean, that's deep. I don't want to go down there, right? But really and truly, the reason for the conversation, or the verbal conversation, or the physical conversation, if it's affection or whatever it is because even though I'm thinking it, you know, some guys say, but you're sometimes in some therapy, you ask the fellas, when I tell your wife you love her? What do you mean when last? When we got married, I told her that. I didn't change my mind. And he's like, but brother, but how are you so sure that she still knows that? How are you still? So, you mean you should know, I never tell her anything differently. but the idea behind it is that somebody had to express it. So, because the ideas are there, we have the thoughts, we have the intentions, we have the motive, we have all of it. We want to express it. So, God expressed his idea. He said something, but what he said is wrapped up in a person. So to hear God, they'll find out, okay, let me find out what he thinks about this. Let me find out how he responded about it with this situation. What did he do so and so? Why did he do that this way? Because if I find that out, then I know what God's opinion is. I know what his idea about the situation is. So when the youths complain to me about their relationships, I say, well, I don't know the answer to this. All I know is that Jesus said, in the beginning, it wasn't so. So I had to go back to what he said. I had to go back to the beginning. Find out. Are you a beginning young man or a beginning young woman? Right. When you go back to the beginning, then we can deal with the issue. Because I'm going to find out God's expression of it. Right? Thoughts. Right. So we dealt with thoughts, we dealt with action, we dealt with character. Let's do it in relation to God. Our theory about God precedes what? Must. Must. Right? And then of course our ideas of what God defines now are theology. Right? Question?
Yeah. Can I explain that first line? Or theory about God precedes our study of God.
Right. We're coming from the top of it. Concepts, precepts, when we're going on the idea, you're coming on the list, right? Precepts, concepts, well, ideas, concepts, you're coming on the line. There is where you get your theory about anything. If you don't have an idea about what you're studying, then your study is in vain. You're studying just to pass an exam. So you must, the reason for your studying is to make sure you have the right theory about what you have, the right mental framework, the right idea, because your idea about the experiment, about the item, is more important than just studying the item. The goal is not just a study. The goal is, what are my theories about this? What are my concepts about it? What do I believe about it or about him? I must deal with that. Because my glasses, the glasses in terms of the different things that I have that I've learned in the past, could influence, could smudge. So I have a wrong concept and I think it's right. And there's what a good example is Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler's theory was God sent him to rebuild the Roman Empire, and the people who were in the way of doing that were the Jews. That's his concept. He believed that God gave him that idea, that he needs to get rid of these people. Bin Laden's concept was that in order to honor God, I need to get rid of this horse or this authority that is controlling the world. That's his concept. That's his theory about God, about his God. So the reason, we look at the action, but behind it, their concept of God have led them to do what they did. We just deal with the thoughts. We're dealing with the actions here. Behind it all is, I have to honor my God. I have to be the one to deal with this authority that is getting involved in how we want to run things. Go ahead. Question. Yes. And those are just few. Yeah, some of them crazy.
Yeah. What about experience?
Go ahead.
In dealing with, overcoming theory or concept in that aspect? Like an external experience as it may be different to your theory or concept will have an impact and will more or less change.
And will shape your theory. Right. Those will deal with called paradigms. All of those are paradigms. Because the most like for example, one of the times I was discussing with my pastor, he was saying, and a lot of preachers had that in our circles had that idea that the best form of theology is biblical theology. I said, meaning just studying the Bible and interpreting the Bible by itself. I said I would believe that and I would agree with that if you were born with an empty head with nothing in it and you remain that way, meaning nobody influenced you. You had no teacher, you grew up big and you had no teacher, you had no parents, you had nobody to influence you. That will be the best way, best theology. Because you had nobody to influence the way you would listen to God or hear Him. So the things that we have heard, the experiences we have, when things happen to us or we get any information, we pass it through this system because we have formed it. Teachers or parents or friends, different things that they have done and have said and have taught us. We pass through this system that we have formed in our head. And we come up with something. Oh, so this is what it means. So what we do now, we can read the Bible and we can impose those ideas on the book. And say, well, okay, this is what the book is saying to me. And therefore, the way I see the book might not be the way you see the book. So your idea and my idea. And you have different theology, different ideology. That's what happens. So we tell people that this whole thing started when something, as I said, I don't even have to mention it here. This whole thing started when something actually happened in a church I was going to. And that rocked me. Some people left, all kinds of stuff. People stayed, people were on one side or the other. I was nowhere. I realized I didn't know what to do. And what I did was this. I stopped. I hardly used to go to church. I would go when I have to play music. I was playing music then. Or when I have to, I wasn't teaching, I wasn't involved in certain things as such at that time. And I stopped. And I said, what is this thing really about? I stopped and I started searching. Right? And from listening, I realized something. A lot of things we were doing were based upon what we think were right. And I had to get back to the original. I need to find out, where does this thing start? And the only link I got from the beginning was a person called Jesus Christ. And I said, okay, I'm not going to read anything else. Well, actually, I got the idea from when I was listening to Pastor Miles then. Actually, it was cassettes. And I was getting his cassettes from 19.1 at that time. And I started listening. And one of the things he said, just, if you are going through this thing, just spend some months just focusing on just Jesus alone. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Over and over. He said he had to do it. He had to do it because it happened to him too. Until Jesus walked off that page. Let me tell you something. I spent a year doing it. I spent a year praying fast, running from the office and going into the bathroom and spending time with God. All kind of thing. I didn't do the 40-day prayer, the prayer and fast. I would have liked to do that, but I was searching, and I had to get Jesus. I had to find this thing. What is this really about? And from that year of just focusing on Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, over and over and over and over and day and night, and my wife can't find me because I'm out in the living room praying and all kind of thing. Right? Because what are you doing again? It's just crazy. Messed up. But I had to come to the point to empty all this stuff. Because I grew up with 3 different families. I didn't grow up with mommy and daddy. My mom died when I was 5 months old. My dad left the scene, and I was passed around. I'm what you call the unofficial orphan. That's what the unofficial orphan. So I grew up in different homes, right, with 3 different mommies and daddies at different times in my life. So I had a lot of stuff coming at me. So I had different brothers and sisters with this family here. I have a brother and a sister. And when I spend time when I start living with this family, this is my new brothers and sisters. I had that. So it was crazy. So I had to empty to find the original. To work. Eventually I found my dad. He was living in Trinidad. I'm really from Tobago, right? Came to Trinidad, befriend him. Became his good friend, eventually started relating with him, developed a relationship with him. I buried him, take care of the funeral, everything, all that kind of stuff. He was actually my wedding. We wanted to know what was going on. But I had to go through that in order to help those guys. I only understood it when I started teaching the guys, And I realized, wait a minute. When I started listening and I started understanding what was happening in their life, God started showing me what I needed to do. I don't wait a minute. There are plenty of things like that going on. Plenty. Right? So I had to but the process was necessary to do that. Go ahead.
Probably for 3 years. But, it reminded me, the reason I brought up experience is because when Saul was on the road to Damascus, and he had an experience, and he was so trained with a concept before, trained. Man was fervent with this philosophy idea, and in a moment, his life was changed. Now the scripture talked about him going into the wilderness for about 14 years to retool.
3 years. Yeah. 3 years. Yeah. But that's the idea. He had to do it.
To retool, right?
Yeah.
That quiet where nobody, I don't know if anybody influenced, but to get that conversion of the conscious, well, you would say the consciousness and the subconscious, so that you can come out with one concept. Now, I have any challenges in terms of Christendom having different, your brothers having different concepts, and I don't understand why.
But we just talk about it. Different theories come because we have different paradigms, different ways we brought up. That is not only in Christendom, that is around the world, that is religion on a whole. On a whole. As a matter of fact, I don't want to touch on that yet, but you'll discover some things that are even more shocking. But I'm going to be very soft and gentle because there's some adjustments we have to make in order to function the way Jesus functioned. Because remember we said, If Jesus did it, it means I can do it. If Jesus spoke and things happen, then I can speak and things happen. If Jesus walked on water, it means I can walk on water if it's needed. It means if Jesus prayed over less food that we had, or less money, whatever it is, and it multiplied, it means I can do that too. But there is a process to learn to do it. Right? It's a process. it's a process. And it can be done, but it's a process. It takes some work, but sometimes painful work, but it's necessary. Because the present situation is actually proving God's right. The systems are built on sand. It's actually right. So you need systems that are so strong, built on rock. So when Jesus talked about whoever listen to these words and practice them, he wasn't just talking about the syllables, he was talking about the principles, the ideas behind it. Loads of it. And therefore, it will stand when challenges hit it. It's going to stand it. And then it will show the reason why I'm doing this is because look at what happened. The system that you put in place didn't work, but the system I put in place, look at the result. Show it. That's what you want to do. So the process of doing that is what we learn. Alright, how to do it. So let's just run through this. Are we okay with that? You okay? Alright. Alright, so if we have different thoughts or theories or ideas, it means the way I study God is different. I'm not going to study God as a guy who's just going to provide for me and just give me everything I need. I'm going to study him based on what he wants or what his ideas are. As a matter of fact, his idea is actually more fulfilling. Right? I'm not just talking about the hard way, but in a very nice way. Of course, ideas about God influence how we relate. How we relate to him. Not just as a matter of fact, one of the big things I have to teach you guys how to be able to relate to God as daddy. That was a big thing. Yes, daddy, I messed up. Alright. Let me think about it. Not a religious prayer. Not go down and oh Lord, I'm a saint today. No. Do it like if you stand in front of daddy and relating to him. And you messed up. Or he's proud of you and he wants to tell you something. Relate, respond to me then. That's what I want to see. Because the idea is to get to the place where he is real. He's not somebody you're trying to get something from. Right? Sorry about the screen thing. Or character or relationship with God creates our quality of life. That quality of life has to do with lifestyle. And we need to work on changing our lifestyle to live like prince and princess. And I'm talking about spiritually and physically. Both. Both. You're going to learn how to do both. It's going to take all that, but it's going to learn to do both. When you understand how royal you are. Right? Not just England standard royal or France standard royal, but better than that. Right? Let me give you a nice idea. In the royal families, they don't discuss money, except who they're going to be donating to. What they discuss is ideas, productivity, development, growth, transformation. Because it's available. Right? And that's the idea of functionals. Functionally to work like that. When there is debt, when the salary late, you need to function like that. Still, talk like it still. That's the idea. When it comes from understanding who this person is, your daddy is. Right? Comes from that. Thoughts into results. So an idea is conceived thought, and I conceived thought. Concept thought. A conceived thought is a precept, right? Pre-thought, it comes before. In other words, what is behind the thought why you put on that particular clothes, that particular blouse, that particular dress? What was behind the thought? that you thought of when you're putting it on. I like how Pastor Brian Skinner says it. You know, you look so nice today. So when you was thinking about when you was putting on that nice dress, but the idea is we think about things, right? The precept is the original idea. We're going back now, and of course, original idea is the truth. I don't have any fruits here. Anybody have a fruit? Okay, let me. Thank you. Right. My hands are clean. Right. Okay. Right. You're going to learn two things. This is to help. Now, the foundation of what I'm going to teach you is just not the foundation. What I'm going to teach you is the foundation of the reason why Jesus could multiply 5 loaves and 2 fish to the amount that could feed over 10,000 people. 5,000 men plus the women and children is the foundation of it. Okay? Good. We want to find out, what do I have in my hand? That is a fact indeed, isn't it? It is an orange. Now, tell me the truth. What do I really hold in my hand? What's that? Juice. And what? Juice. Good. An orchard. Orchards. Oh, he's big. That is the truth as opposed to the fact. The difference? And with the juices, I get what? What do you get with the juice? Vitamins, what? What? There's another thing. What? Huh? Come on, teacher. I don't know. That's beyond me now. Teach you something. I'm here to learn too. That's high. But that's the idea. The idea is we normally destroy the fact. Instead of planting it, instead of doing it. One of the things we learn from this is that when you get salary, this fact is that we relate this as truth. But really and truly, that is seed. There's a difference. Right? So you could look at different things. Yes, factually, this is what I have, but what do I really want here? What is the potential of this? Forest. When you start looking at things like that, you realize the house too small. In fact, one friend of mine, there was something he had to say, and he said he stopped the car and he started running, came outside and said the car was too small to say it. Thank you. He said the car was too small, he had to come outside and tell us, because there was something we were going to do. We were improving in one of our business systems, and he had to mention something. He came outside the car and said it out. The guy said, inside the car was too small. Go ahead. Did the mic working? The mic? All right, go ahead.
There's a teacher I see in that.
Go ahead. That's the idea.
It's not really a forest.
What is it?
If you say the
Well,
if you say
See it
if you say the fact is that this is the fruit, the truth, and the truth is that it's a forest, then what you're saying is that the truth is a future fact.
No. You know what? No. No.
And it's not a fact, no. Isha, come on, the card says
Okay, it's gonna come up. Go to Matthew 21, 21 to 22. I want you to I want to see. You let me fast track my thing for it. Anyway, that's good. Matthew 21, 21 to 22. And then somebody else find Mark 11, 22 to 25. Mark 11, 22 to 25. I like the word you use, now. And then somebody else find Hebrews chapter 11. Right, you do not after. But anyway, the first one, Matthew chapter 11. First one. Matthew chapter 21, sorry. Go ahead. Jesus.
Verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this, which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive.
Okay. Mark 11, 20 to 25.
Jesus answering saith unto them, have faith in God. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. And when ye stand praying, forgive, if ye have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses.
Talk to me. When should you have them? When? Tomorrow?
no,
Next week?
no.
I'm trying to get you to think the way Jesus thinking. Forget about me. Just move about he's thinking here. The fig tree did not die when they went back to see it. Died when he said it. Even though factually it looked good. Beyond. This too shall pass. I said, yeah, it's still there, but that's okay. That's going to pass. It's different. It's challenging. You have to come to that place. That's it. But they work. Now, Hebrews 11, chapter 6. In 2:11 chapter, verse 6. 2:11:6. When is faith?
No.
When?
No.
You sure? Good. Look at the topic. Look at the heading. There is a big difference between faith and hope. So when you have to minister or to go out to do something for the church, if you are present, if you are hoping that things will get better, all the matter, hear what me. It is not right for me to come today. I need to cancel. If you want to get a result. In other words, if you do not know this must change, take a recheck. It's okay. Because you want to get to that point. Yeah, and let me explain something to you. Jesus is talking, right? Jesus is the one who's talking, right? Eh? You can fly in his face and say, you tell me, you told me, if I believe this, it's going to happen. You know what thing? I believe it's going to happen. I am not going to doubt. I reject every form. I believe it's going to. You tell me, Jesus, you said so. You can do it. If you believe he's good in his word. Now if he's, sometimes then, he didn't really mean that, But if you know the person I'm dealing with, don't lie, he don't guess talk. When you make a statement, that's it. Game over.
I understand what you say there. But the thing about it is that in relation to facts and truth, when Jesus is walking on water, right? And Peter sent out the challenge just to say, Lord, if that is you, bid me come. There was no disappointment at all in Jesus' command. Say, come. That is truth. Now, it sums up in terms of when Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Now, the scenario is, sometimes I get confused as to why things don't happen the way it's supposed to happen. Right? Yeah, that's it. How it happened, right? It is a, and then you get a lot of people giving thoughts on it. And they do sometimes measure. Now, the whole throughout scripture talks about, it talks about works, it talks about truth, it talks about action, it talks about no talk. You understand? In terms of that same truth. And I believe truth now, it's supposed to be absolute, it's supposed to be common, and it's supposed to be, what's the word? It is undoubted. It is
absolute, disputable. Yeah.
You can't question it.
It's indisputable, yes.
Yeah. And that is the truth of matters. Facts could vary in some aspects, but truth don't change.
When I say truth, what I really want to get at is this. The ultimate reality of a thing. Not what the state that it's presently in. The orange, the state that it's in now is as a fruit. But the ultimate reality of what the potential is of that orange is that there is a ground, there is the only grass, and I take the seeds eventually and I do the process with agriculture, and eventually you come back here, 10 years or something, and you see a big orchard. That's the potential. But I use one orange. That's the ultimate reality of it. So you take one lady, right? And next thing you know, you have a whole generation. You come back here, 40, 50 years, and you see a generation of people. Where these people come from? This one family create this whole village. About 200 years. What's happening? Potential of it. That's the ultimate reality. So it's not truth in the sense of our trying to define it. Remember, we deal with not with definition, we deal with concepts. The concept of it is, this is what this is created to do. This is how big this is. This is how vast this can go. Right? Question?
I kind of trying to capture what Colin is saying, and in terms of similar with the facts and truth.
Right?
The thing is, what you just said kind of brought it home.
Present state.
No, I'm talking about, in somewhat disagreement
Okay.
to what you're saying. with the fact that it takes external, certain amount of external conditions for it to, as I say, for it to reach potential.
Yes.
When certain things to me, if it's something is a fact, that without any other external interventions, it's supposed to be so. Because what it comes to me, like if I take iron, I watch iron and I say, well, alright, instead of saying it's iron as a fact, I would say it's a car. Because they use iron to, if you understand what I'm saying.
Alright.
Because the external
Additions.
right, is the man taking the potential of the iron to create X, Y, Z, or whatever the case is. But when it is, when you just think iron is,
I understand what you're dealing with. Okay, yes, it takes external conditions because by themselves they cannot create a generation. Remember, you're not dealing with. Alright, we need to separate the definition of a word from the concept of the word. We in the Western Hemisphere develop with definition. That's why intelligence to us is more important than wisdom. So it's important for us to get grades and high marks and that sort of thing. Whereas in a lot of Eastern cultures, they see in the concept of it is that what this was created to do, where is this supposed to be applied? So the information they learn is not to pass an exam, is not to get something right, is how do I apply it in life? So the concept must be important. Concept means I am taking the idea of the sounds or the idea of the word and find out where does this apply in real life first. That is the truth of it, not the definition of the word. So when we come to the way of concepts, it means the concept of the fruit in the reality of it, what potential is and where it's supposed to be applied. As I already said, juice and the nutrients from it and how we can help everybody healthy, all that is added to it. Because you're dealing not just with the name of the food, the fact that it's orange, the fact that what this is capable of doing for me, of doing completely for anybody. One is you don't need juice with it, as I say, but here's the other part. You have a good orchard with it. So in going through, we're moving from words to concepts. That is why the Jews are among the most intelligent people because of the way they think. It's different. It's not definition in terms of trying to, okay, the way I define good is that I repeat a sentence. I know the concept of it. So another example is beauty. We define beauty as something we see. They define beauty as something that is right. It's a different concept. Is it in its right place? Is it operating the way it's supposed to operate as concept, as opposed to a definition of the word? So that's where the challenge is. But I have to show you that because fact to us, and in that same thing, when you deal with concepts, it means fact is the present state of a thing. I got my salary today. That's what it is. I got that. But here what's happening. The truth about this is it's not really just money. This is seed for all them dreams that I have. I just to plant this in the right place, which is external. Okay? Right place means whether it's investment, whether it's how I challenge it, whether I donate or I manage it, all that is external items I'm bringing on the money to create the reality of it. Right? Another way to look at it is children is at the school. The children can be intelligent. You bright, so you send them to school. You pay money and send them to college. But the potential of this child is vast. The external forces are needed to help this child become that. Yes, but at the end of the day, the child, because as a human, have to choose to adopt or to apply those external forces. Principles, reading books, school study, whatever it is. They have to. So in themselves, no. Not just be by them. They can't just sit down one and say, okay, let me wait here for 50, 40 years and then I will be. I have to apply some external things. That's right, the tree, the seeds, the soil have to be right, have to get the water, moisture, the sunlight, yeah. So yeah. But the concept have to be right. That's why we talk about when you're listening to the person. Don't just listen to the words. Listen to how they're expressing it, what they keep saying over and over. And then find out, question yourself, do I know what is happening underneath there? What is the belief system that was driving this? Why this person feel frustrated? Why this person feel this? Right? So I think that's the difference. If you use concept instead of just definition, yeah, you'll get it. But as you say, practice. Are you okay? Right, 5 minutes.
Show me.
So we're not there. But I want to make sure we look at. I know it's challenging. It's going to take a while.
Just
Right.
one is the parable about the talents.
Okay.
And I've always looked at that. Yeah. Got 5 and he got 2 and the guy that got 1. And something that always came out to me about that particular parable is that whether you had 1 or 2 or 5, the power was inherent in the thing. And I think that is what upset the owner, that you did not allow the thing to manifest, that power in it to multiply. You didn't allow it to manifest. The other thing that came to me, we are all now into the digital age. And when you look at the chip on which all this information is just crazy, it's, you know, when you think about all the information that could be written on this very, very small thing, whether it is a pacemaker for your heart or whatever, it comes from some metal that is somewhere in the ground, a lot of it in places like Sudan and so on. But the ability to do that thing is inherent in the metal. It is there. It is there. You see, it is not as though we're making it up. It is inherent in it, but it has to be discovered and used and applied. You understand? So I'm just thinking about it within that sort of concept, and it is really your perception, how you see it. If you, like, you know, we talk about the orange and the orchard, I was saying, you know, you can have an orange in your hand, but you could be an SM Jolie, in a good sense. You don't want to tarnish people's because, you know, and that is how a lot of people sometimes operate. You see, we see big plantations, and you never knew that it started with a seed in somebody's pocket, that they collected somewhere, and they came and they planted it, and the next thing you know, they have a whole industry, and it becomes a whole big world, you know, worldwide thing. And so I'm just saying that I think what I'm hearing you say is the inherent, the power that it inheres in the thing itself. What God's mind was.
Yes. As a matter of fact, when we start dealing with potential, we'll actually be able to discover more of it. More of those kind of different things. Potential of the cloth. You wanted that? Oh. But I wanted to get that clear, but concept, not just definition of a word. Right? Not, okay, what does conscious mean? What does conscious mean? Think of the concept of it. I am speaking to you, you are hearing me consciously. What is going on and how you're relating to it is subconscious. It's based on what you have learned.